Hi, I'm Don Sackett, one of the founders of SciAps. We've been talking about our lineup of XRF units for scrap metal sorting. So let's recap quick. In a previous section, we talked about the basic model, the X50. We talked about the mid-range, the X200, and how it will measure these light elements like aluminum, mag, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur. So it gets you better sorting, better chemistry. Now we're talking about the premium model. This is the X550. To be frank, this is the unit that most of our customers buy because it's smaller, obviously, than these. It's lighter. You can use it all day long. It's faster on almost everything. It's just a really beautiful analyzer. We're really proud to have it. So let's shoot a few things. We'll show you some of the new features we just put on it, et cetera. But we'll also talk about why going from the mid-range to this might make sense. And again, to recap, smaller, lighter, better ergonomics, quite a bit faster on aluminum alloys and magnesium alloys. Okay, so following that, let's just take a bunch of shots and with this 550 and show you some of these great new features. So first of all, let's do our favorite aluminum 1100 6063 mix-up. So again, about 1 second, it says 1100, and that's confirmed. And then you go to 6063, and in about 1 second, you'll see that magnesium, and it says 6063. So if you have a high volume of aluminum alloys and you just sort them fast, this is the way to go because you will blow through these challenging aluminums with low magnesium or low silicon or aluminum bronzes. You will blow through those as fast as you're blowing through stainless and nickel alloys with any XRF. That is the power of this unit. So that's a good one. Let's see, what else can we do? I mean, obviously the 6061 is real fast. Again, about a 1 second test, 6061, and it shows you that magnesium. Okay, let's look at another example. Let's look at an aluminum bronze with the X550. Again, the base model doesn't measure aluminum, so it can mix up pure copper or like a 110 copper with aluminum bronze. This guy, about 2 seconds, you'll see that aluminum maybe faster. There it is. It says aluminum bronze, CDA 630, excuse me, about 7% aluminum. So you'll be able to blow through your red metals without fear of missing aluminum or missing silicon in the bronzes. Some other nice tricks with this device. Let's see, we can measure I don't know if we did this yet. We'll measure our magnesium alloy again in a couple of seconds. It sees the magnesium and it knows it's an AZ91. Not common, but again, when you go with the highest end, you're just not going to mix that kind of stuff up anymore. And your operators aren't going to be complaining about doing a two-beam test, because in the old days of XRF, these two-beam tests could take 20 seconds or longer. And nobody wants to stand there and take 20 seconds. This guy has two-beam tests that are about 2 seconds total. So you'll just really whip through all this stuff much faster. We put a few new features on before the most recent ISRI show, which was several months ago now. Let's see what they are. So this is a request by a big customer. They said, you know, we run into a lot of beryllium coppers, and our sorters don't always look at chemistry. They just look at the grade. So we want to flag it if it's beryllium, because beryllium is not, if I ship material that has beryllium in it, it's not supposed to, that's a big problem. So here's a 172. So how do you measure beryllium with X-ray? Because it doesn't measure beryllium. The way it can know is you'll find cobalt when you find beryllium. So the logic here is you shoot the alloy, and it measures the low cobalt, and now what it says, it gives you a warning. It says, warning, beryllium likely present. How does it know beryllium's there if it doesn't measure it? It knows it because these alloys have a beryllium cobalt complex used in them. So it'll see the cobalt, and it'll say, aha, that probably means there's a beryllium present. You can do the same thing on an aluminum alloy with lithium. Let's shoot this aluminum alloy, and it comes up and it says 2195, likely 1% lithium. How does it know that? Well, same story. It knows it because in these lithium-containing aluminums, they also have silver. Even though this doesn't measure lithium, it does great on silver. So that's how you know that. And then finally, here's a really new one we were asked about. Tellurium and copper. Who knew? So this is an alloy that's got about 0.5% tellurium. Again, that's a bad contaminant, we're told. So we had the same thing. We had our customers say, hey, if my guys don't look at the chemistry, they're not going to see the tellurium. Can you give me a warning? And that's what we do. We shoot this copper alloy, and it pops up with tellurium at about 0.5%, which is right, and then it gives you a warning. It says, warning, tellurium present. So we put in some of these warnings. The beautiful thing about this is you can add more warnings. If there's other things you're worried about and we can measure them, we can build that in and we can send you that update and you can put it on your analyzer. So these are just the two that we've been asked to do so far, but that's it. One more thing I wanted to show you that's unique to this unit, real quick, is it's got this aluminum app. This is a dedicated aluminum sorting app. I talked about how you could do a 2-beam test in about 2 seconds on aluminums. This does about a 1-second test, so let's just shoot some stuff. So in 1 second, it should sort just about all your aluminum alloys. There's your 2024 with higher mag. There's your 2014 with 0.5% or so mag. Let's see, where is that really? Here's your 6061, again, in about 1 second. Here's your 356. That's the one of, remember how we talked about this one takes a little longer on this 356 high silicon, low mag? Again, 1 second or so, 356, and there's your magnesium. So that's the aluminum app. It comes with, it's standard with the 550, again, makes it the premium model. So if 2 or 3 seconds of sorting aluminum isn't fast enough for you, this will have that app on it, and you can do it in about a second, second and a half for all your low mag, low silicon aluminum alloys, as well as everything else. That's the story. It's a beautiful analyzer, and now we got the lineup. We got the entry mellow, the mid-range, and the premium model. We also want to talk about quick one other way that we have some customers that will buy several of the basic models, say the X50 or even the X200, but usually the X50, and they'll get one of the premium models. And for example, so what they'll do, they might have several sorting stations. And what they'll do is they'll just sort stuff, the basic stuff, with this. And anything that gets flagged, this could be an aluminum alloy or it could be an aluminum bronze, something that needs a more sophisticated unit, they'll cart it over to a single station and have one of these going. So basically, instead of buying 4 or 5 of these, they'll buy 4 of these and 1 of these. And that works great for them, but that's one of the reasons, one of many reasons we make sort of a range of models, low, medium, high. So our customers, if they don't need the performance, they don't have to pay for the performance. But if they do want the performance, we've got the best performing system out there. So that's just one example of ways that you can move these models around.